The Avalanche take their perfect 5-0 road record into Dallas tonight to face the Stars, their second meeting of the year. The Avs won an earlier one back in Denver 3-2. As we take a look at tonight's Ford starting lineup, Peter, tell me about the goaltenders tonight.
Well, they both have played very, very well this season. Semyon Varlamov and J.S. Giguère finished the month of October, giving the Avalanche the best month they have ever had. Letting on the other side, Mike, he is the key to Dallas making the playoffs. He's 4-2-1 when he's in the nets.
HD coverage tonight presented by Nova Home Loans, bringing it home to you in high definition. And away we go. We have started tonight's game between the Avalanche and the Dallas Stars, and they met in Denver on October 15th. Avalanche won that one 3-2. One of the more exciting games of the year. Both teams are really skating that night. See if that transfers to this evening here in Dallas. Long pass through the middle by O'Reilly, trying to feed it down the slot for Duchene. It did come to Duchene. He shoots, a save by Lehtinen for the first test, and Lehtinen makes the save. We got the pass to center ice for the veteran Ray Whitney. Over the line, he makes the pass. The shot gets blocked and ricocheted across to the far side. That was Alex Chiasson, who with 5 goals this season, number 12. He has the puck behind the net. Moves it around the boards. And it comes to the near side. Centered pass up front, and that's deflected. Kept in by the Stars in the Avalanche zone. Turnaround shot by Jamie Benn gets blocked and popped back out to center.
One thing the Avalanche coaching staff, the players talked about last game against Dallas, where Dallas outshot the Avalanche 35-16 the last 2 periods, was their defensemen jumping into the play. They've been working this week on shutting that down. We'll see if they can do it.
Blocked behind the net by Stastny, trying to center. He does, and then the shot comes wide of the net. Back up the wing. Sarchi's got it for the Avalanche. Going back to the blue line. Landeskog lost the puck. Scooped across into the high slot in the Dallas zone, and Ben had it, lost the puck. Avalanche got it back. Stastny feeds it across. Backward Stastny, but that's poked away by the Stars. Then carried out to center. Eric Cole pushing the puck across, and the puck goes into the corner. Benoit for the Avalanche. Drills it around with a backhander to the near sideboards. Kept in at the point by Daly for Dallas. He shoots, and Varlamov makes his first save and holds on. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the Ford lineup. Some changes. Obviously, Talbot in the lineup, but something else as well.
Landeskog, Stastny, and Tanguay stays united. Parento, middle of last game, moves up now with Duchene and O'Reilly. Steve Downey is gone. Talbot, normally a center iceman, on the wing with McKinnon and Mitchell. And of course, Holden playing tonight. Cody McLeod returns from his 5-game suspension tomorrow night. Adam Foote night against the Canadiens.
Underway again, our first period in Dallas. Avalanche. Stars. Stars with the puck. Pushed down the far side wall, and Hayda will pick up the puck. Jan Hayda had a beautiful goal last time out. The Avs had a game on Sunday night against Winnipeg in Denver at Pepsi Center. Just a great looking goal to tie up the game. The Avalanche went on to win that one 3-2 against the Jets as they came from behind in the 3rd period to get the victory. First time they've had to do that this season. Way up the wing, McKinnon for the Avalanche. He leads a Max Talbot. There is number 25. He said that's the number he wanted. That's his number, and he got it. He's now a member of the Colorado Avalanche. He won a Stanley Cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins. In fact, scored the game-winning goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins when they won the Cup. There was a big hit in the corner. Play has continued on. Johnson and tagged along the far side by Antoine Roussel. Kicking at the puck. Still scramble going on in the corner. Stars come up with it. Put into the slot. Avalanche take it away, and it's out to center ice. John Mitchell backhands the puck in from center into the Dallas zone. But we've got a whistle. And we got a stop and play early in our first period with no score.
One of the real impressive players this year is Corey Sarge. Now watch on the right side of your screen. Now watch Sarge come across. Recognizes that Benoit cannot hold that man across. Mikey comes right in, takes the man out. It allows Benoit to stay in the middle and take the man coming into the slot. But that's how well the defenseman. I think Patrick Waugh has done a great job. Every single defensive pair is left shot, right shot. So they're forehand to each other all the time, and he's left them pretty much together since the season has started.
Coming back with the puck behind the net, Brendan Dillon. sends it around the boards, cut off by Sarge, and his shot gets tipped and ends up hitting the net above the glass, and the puck is out of play.
I was talking to Corey Sarge, and, just a couple of the Avalanche players, and they weren't laughing, but they're just saying, we really haven't hit any of the real tough stretches. Well, it sort of starts tonight with the Colorado Avalanche, in the sense that this is tonight and then tomorrow is the first back-to-back set of games they've had all season.
After the rebound, it is pushed to the near side boards, kept in by Sarge. Around behind the net, around to the far side, punched up the wing, and cleared out to center ice. Sarge will come back to pick up the puck. Stop behind the Avalanche net. Now heads up ice, threads a pass through for Duchesne. Past the red line. Cutting around, he shoots, and it trickled right on the goal line and hit the post. Batted back behind the net. Parenteau tripped up. That will be a penalty on Dallas. So the Avalanche are going to have the first power play opportunity moments after Duchesne came oh so close to giving the Avs the lead.
Again, we're seeing the maturity of Matt Duchesne. In years past, Matt Duchesne would have continued down the right wall and sort of opened himself up to know what he was going to do. You don't know what Matt Duchesne is going to do anymore coming through that slot area. He may go down the right wall, he may stay through the center, but with his speed, I can't tell you, Mike, I watch all these shows about the hockey, how much he has really impressed hockey people around the National Hockey League.
Right off the faceoff, the puck is cleared out by the Dallas Stars. Jordy Ben shoots it down the ice. If they have score on the power play, a lucky winner will get tickets to an upcoming game. For a chance to win, you can register at afwonline.com/altitude. Stopped along the near side boards. Push back to the point. Tanguay gives it to Stastny. Fed back towards Tanguay. Slid across to the far wing. Tipped in front. Save. Rebound. Another brilliant save by Kari Lehtinen. Backhanded around the boards, and it's skipped by Johnson and out to center ice. At the red line. Pass over the line for Stastny. Kicks back into the corner. Landeskog after it for the Avalanche. He's got it. Along the end boards for McKinnon. To Landeskog. Trying to make the pass up the wall. Stastny to the point. Tanguay's got it, walking along the blue line. Gives to Stastny. He's in. He shoots. That's blocked. Followed up by McKinnon. Makes the pass. Landeskog shot. Save made by Lehtinen. And he'll cover the puck and stop the play. But I think we've got at least one, if not matching penalties happening here.
No, the Avalanche stayed out of it. I mean, this is one of those penalties that, Mike, the play was over. And you're trying to be a little too aggressive for no real reason. And now you've got a 5-on-3 for 59 seconds. But I mean, McKinnon, he'll be seeing this one all night. That's just one of those ones. And this is for when you're a young kid. These are one of those ones that coaches have to talk to you and say, just let it go. Okay, you'll get your chances, but don't sit on that. It's like a bad hole in golf, Mike. You just can't sit on it. You just got to get over it.
After the faceoff, Tanguay sends it across for Duchesne. Back for Tanguay. Handoff goes to Benoit. So there's 5-on-3 for the Avs. Pass across. Comes to Benoit after it was tipped by Parenteau. Cross ice, Duchesne shot. Save made by Lehtinen. Then he pulled the puck back underneath and able to cover the puck and get a faceoff. So the Avs moving that puck around, but boy, has Lehtinen been sharp here in this first period.
Well, again, you talk to the Dallas people, and they will tell you flat out, any injury that Lehtinen has, their club just sort of doesn't play as well. They have great confidence in him. They believe in him. And, Mike, when you see saves like that, and you look at his numbers, you can see why they have such confidence in him.
It is about being healthy, isn't it? He was originally a very high draft choice for the Atlanta Thrashers. He just never could stay healthy enough there. And Dallas took a chance. And when, as you point out, he is healthy. Boy, is he effective. 4 shots so far in this power play situation for the Avalanche. Still have 22 seconds left in the 2-man advantage in a scoreless first period here in Dallas. Benoit passed for Parenteau. Into the slot for Tanguay. Has to knock the puck down, settle it down. Then elects to send a pass across. Parenteau. Give and go with Tanguay. Back towards Benoit. Down low for Duchesne. Make the pass, and it bobbled off the stick of Parenteau. Yeah, the open net. Benoit one-timer, save, rebound shot, another save, and yet another save by Lehtinen. The Avalanche keep the puck alive. Pass in the slot. Down into the crease, that's blocked. Now it's just a 5-on-4 power play situation. Avs not able to score on that 5-on-3. They certainly had their chances, though. Saucered back to Benoit. Sent to the near circle for Duchesne. Down low below the circle for O'Reilly. Back to Duchesne. Turnaround shot, and it hit Letton and then popped over the back of the net. That's along the end boards. Well, the Avs are just all over Letton, but has he been stellar here in this first period?
Shots are 10-1, Mike.
Back to the point for Benoit. Sent across O'Reilly. Shot saved by Letton. And the rebound comes to Brendan Dillon. He'll clear it out, and big ovation, and rightly so. Just 10 seconds to go, and so far in this power play situation, we have seen 9 shots. Carried in by Johnson. Flipped it off the glass. Gives it chase out of the box. Comes Roussel. And that's it. We're back to even strength. The Avs gave it everything they could, but could not score on Letton. McKinnon dancing behind the net. Centered. And that is blocked right at the post by Letton. Back again along the end boards. Jordie Benn pushed by Mitchell. Stars had the puck. Flipped up the far wing. Tipped out to center. Mitchell broke it up for a moment. Avalanche have the puck after the turnover. Brought in down the wing by Talbot. Curls into the corner. Pass in the slot for Mitchell. Redirected that one wide. Wilson had pinched in. Puts the pass behind the net for McKinnon. Back around. Mitchell gives to Wilson. Behind the net for McKinnon. Then the ice staying tilted towards the Dallas zone. 12 shots for the Avalanche. 1 for Dallas, but it is a scoreless first period with 12 minutes to go.
And there is nothing that the Avalanche did wrong at all on the 5-on-3 or the power play that they had. It was just letting them show.
Steal by Landeskog. Moves the puck quickly up ice for Stastny. He'll shoot it around the boards in the Dallas zone. Circles to the far side point. Hayda down low. Sent across. Score! And the Avs finally beat Letton on their 13th shot of the period. Paul Stastny. Now on a 2-game goal scoring streak. He had the game winner on Sunday night against Winnipeg, and he has given the Avs the 1-0 lead in the first period.
This line may have started a little slowly this season, but we're seeing why Patrick Waugh put Landeskog, Stastny, and Tanguay together. One great individual. Each one of them plays a smart game. But Mike, on top of it, they have been paired against the other team's top line night after night. And you look at Landeskog, he's now +6 for the season. Stastny +7. Tanguay +9 for the season. That's best amongst the Avalanche. This line is just finding the right way to play this game.
Let's give you the Pepsi scoring summary. On the first goal of the game, Paul Stastny, 3rd of the season. It comes at 8:22. Alex Tanguay getting an assist, his 6th of the season, and Jan Hayda. That's his first assist of the season. Jan Hayda with 2 goals and now 1 assist. And the Avalanche have a 1-0 lead.
But another point from the defense, something they were looking to have this season. The offensive production of the defense has been so solid.
See, number 2, Nick Holden. He's a defenseman normally, but with the situation of Cody McLeod, this is his 5th game of a 5-game suspension. He's eligible to play tomorrow night against Montreal. The Avalanche finish up this back-to-back weekend series tonight here in Dallas, tomorrow home against Montreal. So Nick Holden getting a little playing time for the first time this season, and he's playing up at forward.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, Ryan Wilson missed the first couple of games for the Avalanche, but knock on wood, my head is that the Avalanche defensive core has stayed healthy. But you see Paul Stastny, and they have great communication. This line, Tanguay loves to talk the game. Landeskog and Stastny, I mean, they've been together as teammates the last couple of years, and there's a good chemistry between those two guys. And Mike, it's just continuing for this line.
Slammed around the boards and out by Dallas. Sarge comes back to get to the puck. Avalanche up 1-0. Paul Stastny with his 3rd goal of the season. O'Reilly on the puck, shoots it around the boards. Adds it outshot Dallas 13-1 as we approach the halfway point of the first period. Jordie Benn escaped the puck to the neutral zone, fires a pass up ice. Handled by Peverly. He's into the Avalanche zone, spins away from a check, and flips it with the backhand towards the far side corner. Hayda on it for Colorado. Up ice for Parenteau. His pass ricocheted across to O'Reilly and sent to Duchesne, who one-hands that puck into the Dallas zone.
Mike, we saw it in Pittsburgh where the Avalanche took early penalties and threw their whole game off. Dallas takes a couple of early penalties, and they're not in the flow yet. They've been trying to survive the power plays the Avalanche have.
Whitney's pass tipped deep into the corner. Chiasson moves behind the net in the Avalanche zone with the puck. Dallas still with just one shot on goal in this first period. Delay offside on Dallas. That allows Mitchell some time to get into the neutral zone. He'll stick handle his way into the Dallas end. Gets stood up. He flipped the puck past the defenseman. That allows the goaltender Letton to get to it. He did not cover it. It came right back and missed. He played that puck, kept it alive, and flipped it over towards the Avalanche defenseman. At the blue line, the puck bouncing, pushed ahead by Talbot. Sergei Gonchar will send the puck out towards center to the red line for Seguin. Followed up by Daly of Dallas. He shoots the puck over the line, but that is an offside play on the Dallas Stars. The Avalanche get a goal from Paul Stastny. They lead this game in the first period, and Dallas 1-0.
Michael, last season the Colorado Avalanche scored what would have been a prorated about 192 goals over the course of an 82-game season. They're on a pace this year, but right in that 250, 255 range. If they can improve, Mike, by that many goals offensively, and you can see that they're going to be defensively better this year, they're going to push for that playoff spot. If not a playoff spot, and maybe even a home ice in that first round. But those numbers right now solid, and they're getting scoring throughout their lineup, and a big key continues to be defensemen throwing points on the scoreboard every night.
He assisted on that first goal by the Avalanche and lead this one 1-0. Varlamov sets the puck behind his own net. Hayter hits Johnson with the pass. Snaps the pass through the middle from Landeskog. Over the line for Tanguay. Drops it in the Dallas zone in the near side corner. Landeskog got his man tied up against the end boards, reaching in Tanguay. Oligoski for Dallas trying to work that puck free. Still tied up along the boards. Finally, the puck squirts free, and immediately Ben is in with a pass by Whitney. Streaks out to center and backhands it in. Varlamov set it behind the net, flipped it around the boards. And to Landeskog, he'll chip the puck to center. Whitney's on it. He's the only man back. There's the pass for Roussel, pushes the puck into the Avalanche zone, but the Avs take it away and do not allow a threat by Dallas on that rush. Steal at center ice. Put in by Chiasson. Backhands it into the Colorado zone. He gets wedged against the boards by Gannon. He's able to play the puck to Dillon. Sends it across to Robidas. His shot sailed wide. Back around the boards. Kept in Dillon. Sent it to the net. Saved by Varlamov. And the puck picked up by Parenteau for the Avalanche. Moves it up the boards for O'Reilly. Drops it back behind the net. Gannon's on it for Colorado. 7:20 to go. First period. 1-0 Avalanche. Icing was waved off. Dillon one-hands it up the boards for Robidas. He gets tangled up with Duchesne. Duchesne pushed the puck to the corner. Coming out of the corner, bounced it back towards the point. Benoit's shot gets blocked and it ricochets out the center.
That was the first time Dallas had a little pressure, but the Avalanche have done a terrific job tonight. One-touch passes out of the zone.
Dropped in back behind the net. Gonchar leads it in the corner. Pass to Dale. He skates out to center. Pass for Beverly. Reels in that pass. Then gets separated from the puck by Sarch. Outlet pass goes to center for Holden. And he shoots the puck in. Nick Holden, first game this season for the Avs. Been a healthy scratch in the previous 11. Just waiting to get in the lineup. Finally, he is in. That's Talbot for 25 for the Avalanche. Acquired from the Philadelphia Flyers in the trade for Steve Downing.
Just getting back to Holden in camp, he was tremendous for the Avalanche. And again, he just can't crack this defensive core that has been so good.
Daly's pass for Gonchar. Up the boards and through the neutral zone towards the Avalanche line. Three Stars right along the boards. Finally able to push the puck in. McDermott shoots it in the Avalanche end. First back behind the net for Johnson. Up the boards and scooped out by Mitchell of Colorado. 5:45 remaining in our first period. Paul Stastny with the goal. 8:22. Third of the season. Right after The Avalanche were just all over Letton, peppering him with shots. Couldn't score until the 13th shot of the period. Letton will glove the puck and hold it. We'll take a television timeout. Avalanche are in Dallas, and they lead in the first period 1-0. We're talking about first period goals this season.
Well, talk about a couple of young, dynamic, future, if they're not already, stars in this NHL. Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin. I mean, and what is the common denominator, right? They can fly. Both of them are just brilliant skaters. Matt Duchene, he has, again, as he did last year from the year before, stepped it up. He is better this year than he was last year.
Jordy Ben makes a long package cross for a Chiasson. Dragged along the boards towards the corner by the Stars. Toward free, and the Avalanche are on the move again. It's Landeskog reaching the red line. And shoot the puck into the Dallas zone. Tanguay, Landeskog trying to free up that puck. Goligoski sends it up the middle. Pass towards Roussel. And he's met at the blue line with a shoulder from Nate Guenin. Goligoski holds the puck in at the blue line for Dallas. Shovels it again back down the boards, but we've got a whistle. The puck came out of the zone, then brought back in, so it's offside Dallas. Luxury has an address. Cooney Lexus invites you to see the full line of Lexus all-weather drive sedans and luxury utility vehicles for 2014. They're available at Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village, now open at Bellevue and I-25, and at Cooney Lexus in Colorado Springs.
Well, Max Talbot joins his third club, started off with the Pittsburgh Penguins, went to Philadelphia, signed as a free agent. But this was the first time he's been traded, and it is a strange sensation. When you sign as a free agent, you had all summer to get used to your new club. Traded, not deep into the season, but you've been there for Philadelphia for a couple of years, and now you're traded. And the interesting thing was he had only played with one other guy at any level, and that was Nate Guenin. I mean, and so, you know, he doesn't know anybody, but he'll learn about him quick enough.
Duchene chasing the puck into the Dallas zone. Robidas leads the Dallas Stars in hits. He's had 27 hits this season coming into the game. Dallas with just 2 shots during this period. We've got just over 4 minutes to go in the first. Center ice. Looked in by Corey Sarch. Avalanche defenseman will turn. Avs making a change.
Mike, sometimes after a long layup, you're not sharp in certain areas. It even changes. The Avalanche have been very solid in that little area.
Daly makes the handoff, and then the shot comes wide of the net. Gonchar will hold it in for Dallas. His shot tipped by Mitchell, the Avalanche, wide. Back around the boards. Daly waiting at the blue line. Makes the pass, kept in. Gonchar's shot missed wide. Whitney centering pass, but nobody there in a green sweater. So it's the Avalanche who have possession. McKinnon pushing the puck, and he'll use that speed to get to it. Flicked it back up the boards towards Mitchell. Taken away by Ben. He makes the pass up ice for Whitney. He cuts in. His pass blocked by Wilson for Colorado. Gonchar holds it in for the Dallas Stars. Sends it wide of the net. Seguin turns. And off the side. One-handed out in front. And the pass broken up. Goligoski had pinched in. Dropped it off for Seguin. Dallas moving the puck. One of their better shifts of the period. Bouncing puck. Whitney flicked a little backhander to get stopped. McKinnon knocks the puck free for the Avalanche. Get it out towards center ice. Talbot took a hit from Goligoski, but was able to backhand the puck in. Ben through center ice. Over the line. And then shot around the boards. Skims to the near side. Cole's got it. He takes a shot and it gets blocked. And Dillon's shot going wide is gloved by Varlamov. He'll hold it for a faceoff. 1-0 Avs in the first period. Time for Did You Know is presented by Stevenson Automotive. All right, it's the anniversary of Jacques Plante, who began wearing a mask, changed goaltending. So we want to know who's the last goaltender to play a game without a mask. You can text your answer to 53548. Win some Avalanche tickets.
Well, we know maybe the last goaltender, but certainly one of the more overrated goaltenders is on that list.
Now, that's not nice to say about Roger Cronin. Whether the face-off in the Avalanche zone. Pass behind the net. Avalanche have got it. Moving out towards center ice. That's going to cross the rink towards Tanguay. Broken up by Dillon, the Dallas defenseman. And Eakin skate out to center ice. Makes the pass. That got tipped off of Landeskog and goes into the Avalanche bench out of play.
Like, there's a great example of what the Avalanche worked on all week. Dallas, the last time these two clubs played, had that speed to the neutral zone with the defenseman attacking on the far side. That time, one guy was trying to weave his way through. He tried to dump it in, and all of a sudden it's chipped. It's into the Avalanche bench. No speed through the neutral zone to this point for Dallas.
Goligoski will skate in. Shift to the corner. 2 minutes left to go in the period. 13 shots for the Avs. But Peter, they have not had a shot since they scored that goal.
There haven't been a lot of shots since they scored that goal.
Pass across for O'Reilly, zip wide. Dropped in the corner. To the point, Wilson golfs one up high into the screen, out of play.
Here's what we're talking about, that neutral zone. Just the idea of the Avalanche in perfect position. Now watch how they're all coming back. You got the center, you got the defenseman in the middle of the ice. You've got the far side player pinching on right there, and there's nowhere to go. Last game against the Avalanche, they were just flying into the zone. The Avalanche didn't want that again, so Patrick Roy spent almost the whole practice 5-on-5 working on shutting down the kind of speed that Dallas threw at him last game.
McKinnon, Mitchell, Talbot. It was Mitchell who took the face-off. Gonchar steps up to the puck and bats it ahead and into the Colorado zone. Wilson back to play it. Throw off by Cole for the Stars. Loses the puck. Gennin fired it up the boards. Bounced back to Gennin, and then he shoots it the length of the ice. So that'll result in an icing call on the Avalanche.
We're just looking at, again, for the Avalanche tonight, that's just sort of, you walk through the dynamics of a back-to-back game, something the Avalanche haven't played. You want to lengthen your bench. You want to use everybody, especially when you have a little bit of a lead. This is one luxury of having a lead. You still use everybody, all 6 defensemen, all 4 lines. You may be top-heavy with your top lines at certain points, but you want to get everybody involved.
And you haven't taken a penalty in this game, so you haven't had to use guys in the penalty kill. Mitchell digging for the puck for the Avalanche with Ben. Ben comes away with the puck for Dallas. Throws out of the corner, cuts across the slot. Mitchell was all over him and really did not allow him to get a good shot. That was good defensive work by John Mitchell.
You saw the step of Mitchell, and that's something that is really, I don't want to say it changed the game, but it's made it so much harder to score. When you're coming out of the corner, that man just mirrors the puck with his stick and stays on it. It's frustrating. There's nowhere to go. That stick's not supposed to be there.
And to take the face off against Stastny, and it comes to Seguin. Immediately gets a wrister off that Varlamov makes the save on, and no rebound.
Now, this is one of those situations. The Avalanche, you got to be sharp on these draws. And the puck was in behind. Somebody, shouldn't get that shot. And you just got to. Everybody has to have a man when you lose the draw. It doesn't matter when you win it. Those things take care of themselves. When you lose it, everyone's got to have their man.
Whitney on the puck for Dallas. A little help from Seguin. Ben, Seguin, Whitney for the Stars. Stastny, Tanguay, and Landeskog. The forward line for Colorado. Romanov bounces it in towards Varlamov. He'll field it and then drop it for Johnson to take. We've got half a minute left in the first period. Barry Johnson goes up the middle. Pass redirected by Tanguay. Taken away by the Stars. Chiasson. It's a curl back into his own zone. Makes the pass for Robidas. The Dallas defenseman will charge after the puck after he dumped it in. Varlamov scoops it away. Dropped in the corner. Batted up the boards. Carried out to center ice by Tanguay. Shovel it ahead, and Landeskog will land that puck in the Dallas zone with just a few seconds left to go in the period.
And what we're seeing right now, the Avalanche defensively, they're just not panicking. It doesn't seem to matter what's being thrown at them. They're handling it, moving the puck out of the zone, and not getting those long shifts in their own zone.
They had a lot of shots early on Letton and took to the 13th chance after a couple power plays, but Stastny got it done, scoring his 3rd of the season at 8:22, and the Avalanche lead after one period 1-0. Stay tuned. Coming up after the break here on Altitude, we've got the Toyota Intermission Report. Paul Stastny has the only goal in this game. Came at 8:22 in the first period after a flurry of shots during a power play situation for the Avs, and it's 1-0 Avalanche after one. Speaking of Paul Stastny, his line dominant, really a good first period for the Avalanche.
And a good start to the season. We're now 12 games into it. I remember talking to Patrick Watt during training camp, and when he put this line together, Tanguay, normally a left winger, on the right side, Stastny, the senior citizen amongst center icemen for the Avalanche, and then the young star for the Avalanche, their captain, Landeskog, on the left side. He said, one of the things we're going to do is that we're going to throw them night in, night out against the other team's top line. I am going to, at home, match them whenever I can. On the road, whenever I get the opportunity. In other words, the top scoring lines of the other team. And what are they doing right now? Well, the Avalanche are the best defensive club in the National Hockey League. They have not allowed other teams' top lines to dominate in games as they did last year. You've got Hayda and Johnson as a defensive pair that have sort of become that shutdown defensive core for the Avalanche. But this line, I guess, get back to the idea. With what they're doing, Mike, if they were even, they'd be fine. But as a group, they're plus 23.
Here we go. Start the second period of play from Dallas. Avalanche and Stars. 1-0 Colorado.
How about this one? Matthew Shane. Dallas had 4 shots on goal. Matthew Shane had 5 shots on goal in that first period.
A lot of those down really close. I mean, right there on top of Ledman. All right, so we've begun our second period of play. Avalanche have the puck. Erik Johnson makes the pass through the middle. That got slowed up. Taken away by Dallas. Buried down the far side wing by Cody Eakin. The shot comes through the crease but wide of the net. Gordy Bennett pass in the middle. Zip back off of Goligoski and out to center ice. Chiasson just inside the line. His pass slowed up by O'Reilly. Skate out through the middle circle. Whitney tangled up for a little bit. Whitney has the puck, makes the pass across for Chiasson. He turns and shoots, saved by Varlamov. And the puck is lifted to center ice. Whitney again for Dallas with the puck. Shoots it ahead, around the board. The puck goes and behind the net. Varlamov swinging around to the far side. Landeskog on it for Colorado. Avs captain. Puts it off the glass. Glanced off the Robidas. Popped up in the air and goes over the glass. He didn't know where that went.
He hit him right in the head. But when you look at the shot chart for the first period, what do you see on the right side for the Avalanche are shooting at Dallas? But look at all the shots down low. And what do we talk about? Patrick Waugh emphasized at the start during practice this last week. A better presence down low. The Avalanche had that in that first period. Now, Dallas did slow them down a little over the course of the last 6-7 minutes. But the Avalanche still had a lot of quality scoring opportunities.
Early on the face-off against Stastny. Shot around the boards. It got by Varlamov. To the near side, half boards. Landeskog trying to find a little bit of room. Dances back behind the net. It's the defenseman Ryan Wilson up ice for Stastny. His lead pass from Landeskog. Skates to the line. It's a sharp pass across for Alex Tanguay. To the behind the net. Stastny arrives and gets to the puck. Turn it back for Tanguay. Trying to go between the legs. The shot, the save made by goaltender Kari Lehtinen. But what a pass by Tanguay. Going to put that one between the legs to send it out in front.
Well, this one worked last game against Winnipeg. That little pass between the legs by Tanguay. And instead set up Landeskog, who set up Stastny. But Mike, I talked to him this morning, and he's really excited about the opportunity to return to Colorado. But he's playing well. I mean, he's playing good hockey. And it is a shift in position for him. Tanguay left winger normally, now on the right side.
On it, Holden for Colorado. And playing his first game this season for the Avs. Pass in the middle for Cleese. Got past him, kept in by the Avs. Benoit sends it over, and the shot by Sarch comes wide of the net. Bordelot for the Avalanche. Working along the boards, goes down to the ice. Trevor Daley puts the puck around. Got by Sarch, but Holden hustles and keeps the puck in play. Put it behind the net. Gonchar, Daly, back off the boards for Gonchar. Right up the middle, flicked in by Fiddler of Dallas over towards Cole. And the puck squeezed free. Benoit makes the pass for Colorado. Up ice, brought in by Talbot. Max Talbot, the newest Colorado Avalanche, makes a hit behind the net on Ben. Puck played around the wall. Out towards center ice, Cole. Gonna backhand it in, he does. Cato bouncing off the boards, kept in. Shot by Jordy Ben, misses the net. Jimmy Benn plays the puck back to the point, but it hopped away from Goligoski. He'll play it through the neutral zone, and the pass slowed up. When neither team, Peter, just even really skate the way we saw in that first game of the year between the two teams back in the middle of October.
We're really excited about the potential that we thought we'd see in this game, but it's been a completely different game. But here, Mike, that's where adjustments have to be made by coaches and players. You think one way, and it's a completely different game. You've got to adjust.
Second shot, glove save. Made by Varlamov, no rebound.
Well, for Nick Holden, Mike, you had a chance to interview him. I had a chance to talk to him this morning. Really excited. It was interesting. Patrick Waugh came to him and said, have you ever played the wing? And he said, yeah, I played a little bit in junior. He said, Patrick Waugh said, well, I was hoping you would have said no, because then we could have called somebody up. But here you go. Here's your opportunity. And, you know, I can't tell you how hard those guys that don't play work. I mean, you know, the days off and the morning skates, just to know that you're gonna play and not have to do that feels good.
And Peter, and you have to maintain a good attitude about things. If you start being all sour and down about not playing in the lineup, that's not the way you have to be. You gotta stay upbeat and ready to play when you get a chance, right?
You want to go back to the minors? Complain one time. I mean, that's a surefire way. Yeah, you know, I really don't want to skate today. Yeah. Well, then, you know, maybe like to play a little bit more down south.
That one bounced through the crease, comes to across, and O'Reilly will flip the puck out to center ice.
And Mike, I'm not saying by any way that it's easy or that that's what you want, but you know, if you want to do that role, you've got to handle it and handle it well.
Duchesne stick handles his way to the neutral zone. Headman pass for O'Reilly. He'll lift that one high into the air. Goligoski sends it around the boards. Up to the near side. Out to center ice for Peverly. Broken up by the Avalanche. Again, the Avs just not allowing Dallas to get much speed through that neutral zone coming into the Avs end. Benoit's pass on the Sarge. Able to eke that one out to center ice. Stars got it back. Flipped in from center ice by Sean Horkoff, the former Edmonton Oiler. Pass through the Avalanche zone ends up on the stick of Stastny. He's got the goal in this game. It came in the first period, 8:22. Alex Tanguay, Jan Hayda assisted on that goal, the third of the season for Stastny. He's on a 2-game goal scoring streak. That one kicks into the Colorado zone. Quick pass by Benoit, and go all the way down to the Dallas end. Goligoski after the puck. Talbot chasing him down. Kicks the puck free. Talbot's got it, trying to center, blocked by the goaltender Lettinen, and then it bounced to the corner. Benn will push the puck out to center ice. Lifted in towards the corner. Whitney on it for Dallas. First back around towards the point. Gonchar had to really hustle, but he was able to keep the puck in play. Johnson blocked that shot. Could not clear the zone. Benn holds it in at the blue line. Makes the pass down the far wall for the defenseman Trevor Daley. Circles the Avalanche net. Still with a puck, Daley. Fed back to the point for Gonchar. Sent across for Benn. Jamie Benn's pass to the corner. Back to the point for Daley. Talbot without a stick. Max Talbot of the Avalanche, no stick. And Johnson sends the puck out to center ice. Talbot dashes towards the bench. Pass comes to Seguin. He moves in and diving back in time to break it up. What a play by Hayda. What a play. There to center.
But Mike, what a collision by Seguin and Varlamov, and right in the crease. Because when Hayda made that play, it threw Seguin off, and he was off balance as he slid into the net.
Orlov for the Avalanche. Chasing back behind the net. Coming out of the corner, Romanov fires the pass. Deflected by McDermott. It's an icing call on the Dallas Stars.
Well, this is a little bit of that speed we saw the first game between these two clubs from Tyler Seguin. Nice, the Avalanche, just two guys read one guy, and then all of a sudden Seguin's open. But there's the collision, and that was knee on knee, not intentionally. That was just, he was knocked down, and Seguin, you see he and Varlamov go, man, that's one of those ones where somebody usually comes up limping.
Now, unfortunately, both seemingly okay. We'll resume play with 13 minutes, 10 seconds left in the second period. Romanov makes a pass across. Up through the middle, it'll bounce into the Avalanche end. Delay offside on Dallas. Able to get onside as Nate Gennin, Avalanche defenseman, skates the puck to center. Pass towards Bortolo, got away. Through the middle for Fiddler. Dallas shoots it behind the Colorado net. Chased down by Roussel. Avalanche and Dallas in the Central Division. Now, and this game, that much more importance. The Dallas Stars right now 7th in the division, 13th in the conference. They have the 1st in the Central Division and 3rd in the Western Conference with 20 points. Pass around the boards. Parenteau chops that one and got it out. Goligoski's rink-wide pass comes to Chiasson, and he sends the puck in, but the Stars are offside. Well, not too many chances in the second period. Seguin had one of the better ones, but it's still 1-0 Av. Be a part of history when Adam Foote's number 52 raised to the rafters of Pepsi Center. Avalanche are hosting the Canadiens. That's tomorrow night. There are a few tickets available now at ColoradoAvalanche.com. And if you're going to the game, make sure you get there by 6:45 for the ceremony. And there's Patrick Roy knows all about getting his number retired. Had it twice. Well, that's how good he is.
And plus, he was roommates with Adam Foote for all the years they were here. Like, I cannot keep a secret. I am the worst. So I have asked all the Avalanche management not to tell me any of the little plans they have for tomorrow night, because I'd be blabbing away. So I understand there are some wonderful things that are going to happen tomorrow night. I fortunately don't know what they are.
Because otherwise we'd all know.
We'd all. It would be out there for the world.
Must be a lot of fun around Christmas. No surprise. With the puck, Parenteau backhands it out to center for Benoit. Offside. Duchesne went sliding over the blue line. Offside Avalanche.
Well, for Max Talbot, his debut at the Avalanche is tonight. For Steve Downie, his debut is tonight. And it is 7-0 for Washington in Philadelphia. And there have been close to 150 penalty minutes in that game. Like, is it highlights or lowlights?
That was a goalie fight. So
the
it's a
goalie fight, and you know, I've seen that a few times, and certainly again for Patrick Roy, you know, they were memorable moments.
All right, Subaru intermission report coming up. And you'll get to see all those highlights from the point. Shot by Romanov. Varlamov came out and made the save. Even with a lot of traffic around him, did not allow a rebound.
But you can start to feel Dallas getting their game. They have stayed out of the penalty box in this period. They're starting to get some opportunities. Anytime you see the defenseman walking in and they're that low as far as deep in the zone and getting shots, that means there's pressure on the Avalanche defensemen, and they're crashing down all the forwards to help out. Great look at Lindy Ruff, who, this is a really good coach. I think this is a great, you know, he was in Buffalo and things just sort of ended there after, I believe, almost 15 years, and joins the Dallas Stars this season.
A new general manager. Yep. New coach. New uniforms. Mitchell has the puck. A number of new players. Probably their biggest change, getting Tyler Seguin into that deal with the Boston Bruins, and he has the puck. Cutting in, fakes the shot, then shoots. That one rattled back behind the net. Ben on it. Chased up the boards by Johnson to the point. Shot up high. That found the glass. Whitney on it. And we're starting to see a little more speed now from Dallas.
Yes, speed into the zone, not just speed coming up to the neutral zone.
Roussel dances in, but the Stars are offside.
Well, as this season has gone along, the pair of Erik Johnson and Jan Hejda has, Mike, it has just gone from good to real good to outstanding. They are at the top of their game, the two of them right now. They complement each other. You got the left-handed shooting Hejda. You got the right-handed shooting Johnson. They're big. They're mobile for big guys. They've got good, quick feet, and they have that chemistry together that you love to see. And both of them have scored 2 goals this season. The Avalanche defense has 5 goals in the year. That matches their total for all of last season.
Finley clears the zone. Icing call on Dallas.
Yeah, you look at the defense, and you know Corey Sarch is that other defenseman that had a goal, a big one against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Goals from the defenseman, Mike, are so important for success in the league. You look last season 5, this season 5, 49 assists last year, 13 already this season. But look at the shots. 5 goals and 88 shots this year. 5 goals. I mean, they shot the puck 376 times. It just wouldn't go in.
Oh, halfway through regulation. 10 minutes to go in the second period.
Like, one thing to watch for, Dallas likes to throw those long stretch passes to a guy with speed.
Dallas offside. Going into the Avalanche zone. We'll be back shortly. Paul Stassi's first period goal still holding up.
When Alex Tanguay was acquired from Calgary, one of the reasons was he'd won a Stanley Cup. He was a winner. He knew how to do it. For the Avalanche now, they've added another guy that has scored a couple of goals in Game 7. As a matter of fact, he scored the only goals for Pittsburgh in Game 7 against Detroit. And Mike, you talked to Patrick Watt. He's talked about it, a couple of guys. Having been there, you go through the Avalanche, Landeskog, Stastny, O'Reilly, Duchesne, Parento, Buchanan. These guys are the core of the success of this Avalanche club. There's no question. But you've got to have some guys that know what's going on. Mike Keane came from Montreal. What a job he did for the Avalanche. Dave Reed came and joined the Avalanche and did a great job. And I think that's what the Avalanche feel they have in Max Talbot. Somebody that can feel when a dressing room isn't going the right way, when something needs to be done. And again, those bridge guys between your top players and your role players are so important.
You can also add Corey Sarch to that list too.
Absolutely.
When he came in as part of the Alex Tanguay trade, he won a Stanley Cup for Tampa Bay.
But I was talking more in this situation about the forwards and those guys of knowing what to do and how to sacrifice a game, all the little things you have to do.
Face on. Off the end boards. Roussel. And the Stars right now putting that pressure on. They've just drawn a penalty. Delay call on the Avalanche. Stars get an extra skater on the ice. Seguin. And the puck poke checked away by Duchesne. And a power play coming up for Dallas.
Well,
Colorado penalty, 44, 2 minutes interference.
This is the first time we've seen this, Mike. And you look at the numbers, it's almost incredible. Dallas has yet to score a power play goal at home. They're 0 for 16. The Avalanche on the other side have yet to allow a power play goal against them on the road. They're 17 for 17. So, I mean, is it going to continue or is it get broken tonight?
Right. And going 0 for 16 for Dallas. They've had only 14 shots in those 16 power plays at home.
And because of letting in the fine play, they are 3-1-1 at home. But, you know, you can't continue with that at home.
Now, Dallas did go 1 for 4 in the power play against the Avalanche in their earlier meeting this season. And their first power play chance was Ryan Wilson off 2-minute minor penalty for interference on Ryan Wilson, Avalanche defenseman. So the Stars with a man advantage here in the second period. Cleared out by Cleach, and we just saw Talbot out killing penalties. And with Patrick Waugh, as soon as he talking about Talbot, immediately went right to the fact that he's going to be a key part of this penalty killing. And looking ahead at the schedule, there's a lot more games in the next few months. There's a bouncing puck in front, and he didn't want to use up his top guys all the time. As Mitchell breaks away, he cuts in, diving back. Good hustle from Jamie Benn. clean takeaway by Ben from Mitchell.
And Cody McLeod, of course, returns tomorrow night, and he and Mitchell formed such a great first group for the Avalanche.
Gunshot. This morning, Talbot was asked about penalty killing and said, hey, it's in my toolbox. I like to do it.
I never got that toolbox. Let me tell you.
Never went to the hardware store, did you?
Didn't want to.
Ben has the puck. Along the blue line. 30 seconds left in the Wilson penalty. One-timer by Gonchar. And that got tipped into the screen. Out of play.
When you look at coming into tonight's game, where does Talbot fit into this group? Of course, coming over from Philadelphia. Philadelphia's played a few more games in the Avalanche. But he is going to be that guy. And Michael, as you said, when does it become important? It becomes important in games where you don't want to take ice time away or add ice time to your top two lines. You want them for the offense, for the power plays, for those moments in the game you need a goal.
Again, the schedule gets busy. A lot of games coming up for the Avalanche. Down low, a chance save by Varlamov. And then the rebound picked up. Stars have got it. Jordy Ben. 7 seconds to go in the Wilson penalty. Angle to the corner. Heavily on it. Out of the box comes a Wilson shot. That one deflected wide. So the Stars are 0 for 17 at home on the power play, while the Avalanche now have killed 19 in a row. Long pass ahead for Tanguay, trying to find the puck. It's between the skates. Turned away by Dallas. So the Avalanche kill the penalty. Came into this game ranked #1 in the league. 92.3% success rate. And they did it again. Killed the penalty.
Like you talked about, as we look at some of the pressure from Dallas, the Avalanche schedule, believe it or not, after these back-to-back games, they have 3 more days off. I mean, it's going to be 4 games in 15 days for the Avalanche. So, you know, there's not the energy is certainly going to be there. But then for the Avalanche after that, 12 games, 25 nights. And that's where you start to pick up some back-to-back games. You start to put, especially the back end of it, Mike. They got Chicago, they got St. Louis, they got a couple against Minnesota. So it is going to get not only more games, but harder games.
First of 10 back-to-backs for the Avalanche this season. Tomorrow night, home against Montreal. Robidas has the puck. Shoots it down the ice. Varlamov will stop it behind the net. Send it around the glass. Drop down to the ice. Stars are on it. Bryn Filler back to the point, and the shot by Dillon goes wide. Handled by Duchesne. Up the ice for Parenteau. To O'Reilly. Send it across, and the puck rolled. Duchesne sends it through the neutral zone, blocked by the Stars, and knocked back into the Avalanche zone. Benoit on it. Put it back behind the Avalanche net. Around the wall, Whitney trying to center. Stopped by O'Reilly. Into the corner. Centering pass for Seguin. His pass tip. Parenteau has the pass from Duchesne. He'll dump it in, and Avalanche will make a line change.
Well, the Avalanche right now are looking for a couple of shifts to get going offensively. There's 2 shots in this period.
We've got a whistle. Varlamov holds the puck. Avalanche hold the lead. They're up 1-0 in the second. This game being brought to you by our good friends up at the Lodge Casinos. Not only your first choice for winning, it's also your first choice for fun.
Mike, I found this fascinating. 190 games for the month of October in the National Hockey League. How tough is it for coaches? 133 games, or 70%, were decided by 2 or 1 goals. Games were within 1 goal. That was separated 73.7% of the ice time. Over the course of a 60-minute game, that's about, what, 45 minutes of the game, or 45 minutes of the game, is within 1 goal.
Varlamov makes the save to keep it a 1-goal difference still.
One play, one moment inside a game. That's why you see these coaches working every situation, every face-off. Now, you want the right guys out there. Every time Lindy Ruff sees that, he sees his matchup here, I've talked to coaches around the league that say they're looking for one matchup at the right time inside of a game. Just one that can make a difference.
Every time you think the NHL is doing things to open up, get more goals scored, what coaches find a way. Backhand try by Parenteau, and Lehtinen makes the save.
Now, this is a good read, one by Parenteau, feeling the pressure, but also by Lehtinen, because Lehtinen realized that Parenteau can only do one thing. I'll show you what. Watch this, Michael. Coming in. Now, he jumps on it. He has to cut across. And once Ben actually forces him to his backhand on that play, and once he does, he comes out strong at the puck, because he could not come back the other way.
Duchesne wins the draw. Gennin shot, tipped wide. Parenteau on it. Slides it back to the point for Wilson. Shoots around behind the net, Goligoski. Tipped it around the wall. Roussel. Handoff. Back up the far side. Pass out to center ice for Chiasson. To the red line. Lifted into the corner. Back behind the net. Swung around. Goligoski has the puck. Shoots it to the corner. 4 minutes, 40 seconds to go. A race for the puck. Duchesne. And he is taken down by Gonchar. That'll be a penalty on the veteran defenseman. You see the look in the face of it, Matt Duchesne.
You know what he's mad at? That he went down. He thought he had it just enough to bounce to the inside, and for Gonchar, it's been a rough start right there. You saw Gonchar sort of use his legs to take him down. Matt Duchesne thought he was breaking in, but for Gonchar, comes over from Ottawa. They really hoped he was going to help the power play and the offensive work for the Dallas Stars. It hasn't been there yet.
He has 1 assist this season.
Dallas penalty number 55, Sergei Gonchar. 2 minutes of holding.
That's a holding penalty on Gonchar. The Avalanche go to work on the power play. Last 5 games for Dallas. 11 for 12 killing penalties. So far tonight, 2 for 2. That was all part of Lehtinen.
That's not one you're going to say, okay, let's do this every night. Let's let him have 10 on there. Let's have 10 early just to get him in the game.
But since that goal, Peter, which came at 8:22 in the first period, the Avs have had only 3 shots since then. And they came out like a house on fire. Things have slowed down in terms of the shots for the Avalanche here late in the second period. But on the power play, now low Landeskog pass in front, got it blocked, and then cleared out by the Stars.
Nice effort by Benoit. He saw pressure of the Avalanche from moving the puck well on the far side. He came down low.
Long pass by Tanguay. Right on the mark for Mitchell. Nice handoff to O'Reilly. He's in, and a kick save made by Lehtinen. Back up the boards. Stars push the puck into the neutral zone. Parenteau on it. To the red line. Skates in, stick handles towards the corner, chasing the puck. Stars trying to clear, and that one does get out to center ice. Andre Benoit for the Avalanche. Trying to find an opening, finds one, and sends that puck in around the boards in the Dallas zone. 5 seconds left to go in Gonchar's holding penalty. Got out of the zone, and that'll do it. Gonchar's out of the box. So the Avs 0 for 3 tonight in the power play. Still lead this game 1-0. Hayden makes the pass for Benoit. Up ice. McKinnon can't split through the 2 Dallas players. Field center by Cleach of Colorado. Taken back Peverley for Dallas. Peverley comes into the Colorado zone, makes the pass across for Seguin. Return the pass, but it's on a skate of Jan Hayden. And we have only 2 minutes left to go in the period. McKinnon bursts out of the zone. Push that puck by Robidas. Moves in, he gets run away from the puck by Robidas. The Dallas Stars have possession. They transition to offense. Cross ice pass for Seguin. Dragged that one. That pass was way behind him. And Finally dragged that one with a skate. Stayed onside. Romanov back into the neutral zone with a pass for Dillon. 90 seconds to go in the period. Long pass for Whitney. Pass behind him for Dillon. It slipped away. And McKinnon comes out through center. Stops. Flipped it. Nice pass. Landeskog shoots. And scores! Gabe Landeskog just scored his 4th of the season. How many goals have we seen like that from Landeskog? It must be a very deceptive shot because we've seen a number of goals like that one this year scored by Landeskog.
Well, you don't, from our angle where we sit, this looks like a bad goal. I don't think it was tipped. It just, but Mike, he must unload it harder than you think, quicker than you think. That seemed to slide right under. I thought at first it went over top, it went right under. And that was just a big goal for the Avalanche. Now you look at the minute 19, and now it adds up by 2 in this hockey game. But this line again continues to put up numbers for the Avalanche.
Sure do. And Landeskog with his 4th of the season. And it comes late in the period. Give the Avs that 2-0 advantage, a little cushion.
And let's look at it again. It's sort of a little bit of a broken play in the sense that McKinnon was on the ice. He picked up an assist on the play. But he was a center iceman. And Stastny is center iceman. So there was just, it's just kind of unusual that those two guys were on the ice together. And McKinnon, his first point now in 6 games, and he gets to relax a little bit.
His 7th assist of the season, the only assist on the goal. Coming at 18:41. Avalanche lead this one 2-0. Chiasson will get to the puck in the Dallas zone. 45 seconds to go in the period. There's the pass. Whitney coming back for it. Goligoski curls back into the zone. Pass up ice. Down the near wing for Chiasson. His pass goes high into the glass. Chopped out of the zone by Parenteau. 20 seconds to go in the period. Now back behind the net for Jordy Ben. Avs all over him. Fiddler for Dallas. Did not get it out of the zone. Parenteau holds it in. Makes the pass for O'Reilly. To the point. Johnson one-times that one, and it got blocked. And that's the end of the period. The Avs get a late goal from Gabe Landeskog to give them a little bit of breathing room going into the 3rd period. They're up 2-0.
I think the best way to describe that period was a controlled period by the Avalanche. They controlled any real momentum. They didn't get a lot of chances, but they didn't give Dallas a lot of pressure time in the Avalanche zone.
So Landeskog from McKinnon scored at 18:41. That makes it 2-0 in favor of the Avalanche after 2 periods of play. After the break, stay tuned. The Subaru Intermission Report is coming up next. Avalanche got a first goal from Paul Stastny. Landeskog in the second. And
for the Colorado Avalanche, now up 2-0. Michael, one of the things that has been so impressive in this game tonight, and really for a while for the Avalanche, is the defense. Now, here's on the rush. Look at the 2 defensemen work together to not allow any sort of pressure when the puck is being skated into the zone by the Dallas Stars. Now, defensive zone coverage. Look at the Avalanche. Everybody has a man. Everybody on the puck. Every situation covered, not just with one guy, but there's 2 guys. There's pressure, good passing, moving the puck out of the zone. And finally, as far as defense goes, the penalty kill. Perfect on the road this season. This is the Avalanche's 6th road game. They have yet to be scored on the penalty kill. And, of course, a lot of it can be goaltending. But I'll tell you, the way this team is starting to rotate, the way this team is starting to believe in each other's abilities and just play the game, that defensive game as simply and as smartly as they can. I mean, the defensemen tonight for the Avalanche, there haven't been a lot of shots on goal, but the defensemen have been terrific shutting down Dallas.
all right, here we go. 3rd period set to start. Avalanche win the opening face-off, and we have begun. Paul Stastny in the first, 8:22, and then the Landeskog goal coming late in the second. And the Avalanche is getting it done. They've found so many different ways to win games. Now, we've still got another whole period to go, but it's been amazing the way they've been able to adjust in games, isn't it?
It truly has been. And one of the things, when you look at the Avalanche are defensively, by a country mile, the best defensive club in the league in the third period. They've only given up six third period goals. And none of them have ever tied up a game. They have not been tied up in a game in the third period. They lost the one game against Detroit. They were down. They were tied at 2-2 going into the third, but that's it for the Avalanche. And Dallas has only scored 3 third period goals.
A wraparound try initially by the Dallas Stars, turned aside by Varlamov. The Stars spend some time in the Avalanche zone. Whitney diving for that pass, couldn't come up with it. Parenzo skates to center ice for the Avalanche. Long pass across the middle for Duchesne. And return to O'Reilly. Shipped around the glass, drops in the near side, half-boards. Duchesne reads back for Johnson, just off the bench. Pass goes across for Tanguay. His shot stopped right at the post by Lettman. Backhand around by the Stars. The Avalanche all over it. Worked by Tanguay to the corner. Punch free by the Stars. Stastny. It's across for Tanguay. Drags it back behind the net. Landeskog has the puck. Pass for Stastny. Up for Landeskog to the point. Shot by Johnson got tipped. Spun around the boards to the near corner for Jordy Ben. Back to the far side, and Goligoski's lead pass. Peverley chased the puck down. He's got it. Sends it over the line. Jamie Benn goes down to the ice. Popped right back up, trying to make a pass. Picked off by Tanguay. Lifted into center ice. Landeskog's got it for Colorado.
That was a good hockey shift. That was puck control, good defensive recovery, and the Avalanche just, I mean, they just dominated that shift.
McKinnon shot, and the glove save made by Lettman. No rebound.
Mike, did you see that shot? Did he? You know, it's all going to come together. I'm sure for Nathan McKinnon right now, it's a little frustrating. He has 1 goal so far this year. But watch him snap this shot. I mean, another step in and a little bit more through the screen, and the goalie's got no shot. He has got a really quick wrist shot.
Time Talbot took the face-off. Pass comes across. Roussel. Down low in front for Fiddler, covered by Varlamov. This line does have 3 players who could take face-offs. Talbot, Mitchell, McKinnon.
Absolutely, but you saw McKinnon lose his man there but recover. His speed allowed him to recover on that play because it looked, Mike, like an Avalanche were coming into the zone. Every man was covered, and all of a sudden the man in the middle was open. But McKinnon, stride, bang, cuts the man off and allows Varlamov to freeze the puck.
And you just see right there Patrick Waugh talking to him. He's still talking to McKinnon on the Avalanche bench. I mean, they're still having a chat.
It's all about instructing and teaching in these situations.
Avalanche trying to push the puck out of their own zone. Lifted out to center. Drop down in the Dallas end. Daly plays it ahead. Fiddler. Hip check by Wilson as he got to the Avalanche blue line. Bang back the other way by Colorado. That'll hop into the zone. Mitchell reaching back for it. Can't get to it. Eakin will carry in for Dallas. Stood up by Wilson. That separated the puck away from him. Pass up the middle. Knocked down by Stars, but then the Avs get it back. And it's Duchesne breaking in. Check. Dillon backhands it around the boards. Parenteau catches up to the puck. O'Reilly for the Avs. Pinned up against the boards. Whitney frees the puck for Dallas. Put it around behind the net. Dillon. Long pass at center. Whitney smoothly took that pass. And then taken away by Benoit. Sarch takes the puck and shoots the puck into the Dallas zone. Lettman lifted back behind the net for Dillon to take. Pass through the middle. Handled by Ben. His pass a little behind Peverley. Catches up to it. Gives it right back to Ben. Spins. Trying to make a pass, picked off. Landeskog for Tanguay. Stastny going to drop the puck in. Gets it back the other way, and Landeskog flags it down. Peverley, handoff, goes to Seguin. Seguin cuts in. Couldn't cut to the front of the net. Dropped it off. Shot, score! Alex Goligoski with a second goal. That was a bullet. And it's a 2-1 hockey game.
Well, Seguin and his speed finally cracked the Avalanche. Comes through, and Mike, you've got to respect the speed. 1, 2 guys on him, 3 guys looking at the puck, no one moving at the guy coming from the point. He gets the Avalanche reaching, and no one picks up that guy. Mike completely screened Varlamov. You and I could see it from up here. It was like he had no clue where that puck was, and Goligoski, that was, yeah, he was just setting up, and it was a bomb. That was a great look at it right there. And now, this is the point in the game the Avalanche have been so good. They may have given up a third period goal. They may have allowed their team to get within 1. But they have not allowed games to be tied in the third period.
Let's look at the Kia scoring summary. Goligoski, second of the season, coming at .357. Tyler Seguin, Rich Peverley with the assists. And now we got ourselves a little hockey game here. The Avalanche still leading, though, 2-1. Mitchell in, shot, and he was robbed. Absolutely robbed by Lettinen. Letting it down on the ice, reached up for the glove and took it away.
I don't know if we have it on screen, but Nathan MacKinnon's reaction to this is absolutely priceless. Look at the left side of your screen. Look at Nathan MacKinnon.
He's starting to put the celebration
hands
in
up, and then all of a sudden, holy cow. And Mitchell did it. Lettinen was frozen. He couldn't get around, and Mitchell's just there. That's one of those. That is a full-time head shaker. MacKinnon's reaction, is that not an 18-year-old reaction sort of to a goal?
Well, I think they're going to take a look to see, did he make the catch inside the net?
See, I was just so stunned. I was not looking at that part of it. Let's have a look. The overhead should be the angle that will show you. Oh, no. It was his pad. Oh, I thought he'd got it with his glove. It was his pad.
So the review is actually, did the puck go over the line?
Over the goal line. Oh. Let's have a look. This is good. That one says no to me.
Really? I think it's a goal.
Of course you did. You know? We'll get those pom-poms out for us. Believe me, I got a pair.
Well, they're still waiting for the decision from Toronto, whether this will be a goal or not.
Let's see it again. At this angle, changes. Did he have his pad in the air and he knocked it out? So that maybe changes things.
It looked like he was going to make the glove save, but it was underneath the glove.
Oh my goodness, that was a.
And his leg, it looks like his legs on the ice, but it wasn't. It was up in the air when he made the save. That was remarkable. Wow. We're still waiting for a decision. Oh boy, when you see that, that's even more spectacular save than just. I thought he just robbed him with the glove.
Yeah,
You know, this is taking a while.
This is taking way longer than I thought.
Well, I think we finally have the decision made. We'll get the announcement here from the referee.
After review, the puck does not cross the line. Call an ice down for goal.
Well, certainly a highlight reel save there by Kari Lettinen, and he's had a basket full of them here tonight.
He had a lot, certainly during that 5-on-3 the Avalanche had in the first period. There hasn't been a lot since, but
stick save by Lettinen. Well, he's given his Dallas Stars a chance. Pass by Stastny, drops her right in front of the crease. Stars take it away. Launched out to center, off the glove of Chiasson. He wrestles into the corner with Corey Sarch. Whitney comes up with the puck. Pass back to the point. Shot by Robidoux goes wide. And Varlamov will cover at the side of the net.
Again, as we talked about, the Avalanche play tomorrow night. The nice thing is for the Avalanche, as we speak, Montreal and Minnesota are playing in Minnesota. So Montreal, the club the Avalanche play tomorrow night, will also be traveling. Their game is a half hour earlier, same time zone. So, you know, the timing of landing in Colorado will be about the same.
Well, here's the question for you, Peter. Is it better from going back to back to be on the road or to be at home?
At home, because you get to look and assess your hockey club and then get the matchups you want. If you got to,
Duchesne flicks the puck out in front. Lettinen's got it in the glove. By the way, that is the final. Minnesota wins at 4-3.
And again, that Minnesota moves 2 points closer in the standing. And here's another look at Matt Duchesne. Matt Duchesne is giving defensemen fits. His speed this year, he's always been quick, but there seems to be an extra element to his speed this year that defensemen haven't been able to gauge. And maybe it's just one of those things, Mike, where he is just moving so quickly now that for most defensemen, it's just a hard night's work.
Adds with 22 shots, Stars with 15. The Avalanche lead in goals 2-1. Gonchar hustles back for the puck. Going to make a pass, but McKinnon read it. Tipped it back to the corner. Gonchar makes the pass. Backhanded around. Steal by Mitchell. But he lost the puck back to the Stars. They're down the near side. Pass in the slot. Bounced away from Gonchar. Split it to the side. Backhand try. Save. Rebound. And that is snagged by Varlamov with his glove. Stars get a goal. Defenseman Alex Goligoski makes it a 2-1 hockey game. Let's answer tonight's Did You Know question presented by Stevenson Automotive, Colorado's home team. Who was the last goaltender to play a game without a mask? And your answer is Andy Brown. Michael, I saw him play his last ever pro game, the WHA, for the Indianapolis Racers, and look at that. That's in the early 70s. I mean, the guys are shooting.
My first training camp was with Buffalo, and he had not yet signed with Indianapolis. He was at the Buffalo training camp, and I didn't practice against him. I was there. I was with the minor league club. I saw him practice without a mask and thought, there's one of the craziest people I know. I mean, because as you say, guys like Richard Martin were firing BBs.
Absolutely unbelievable. At that time, he was still not wearing a mask. 13:25 to go. Landeskog trying to wrap it around. Got denied. Wants to chase back into the neutral zone. Tanga ends up with the puck. It's the pass for Ryan Wilson. Right down the boards for Landeskog. He tipped it in, so no icing. And Robidoux back to pick up for Dallas. Makes the pass. Duchesne trying to slow down Peverley. And Hayda puts a hit on Peverley. Duchesne punches the puck behind the net. Up the boards. Avalanche leading this game 2-1. Stastny, Landeskog have scored the Avalanche goals. And a third period goal from Alex Goligoski from Sagan and Peverley at 3:57. Cutting the lead of the Avalanche in half. Hayda sends the puck around. Dallas really putting some forecheck pressure on. Duchesne trying to get around Jordy Ben. Turns and shoots through the crease, but wide. Sarch pinching in from the point. Moving along the end boards. Fired over to Duchesne. His shot gets tipped. And the puck ends up going into the seats, out of play. If you're looking for a great car, check out the all-new Kias. They are awesome. Go to ColoradoKiaDealers.com. You'll find Kia's full lineup. They've got high-quality, stylish, dependable vehicles. They're all awesome there at Kia. Face-off in the Dallas zone. And you get a sense that Dallas is really starting to push things now, aren't they, Peter?
So they're starting to push it, but the Avalanche, again, they have that confidence that they can play the kind of hockey that'll, keeps them with leads.
Nichushkin with a pass, and that was directed high by the defenseman Daly, who had pinched in. Loose puck in the crease, batted away. Fiddler. Nichushkin behind the net for Dallas. Avalanche take away the puck. Long pass to center ice for Holden. Got a man with him. Handoff goes to Cleach, but the Avalanche are offside.
But the Avalanche, the one thing that they don't need right now is an injury. And Johnson went to the locker room. Hopefully for Patrick Waugh's club, it will just be an equipment issue. I was asking the training staff how long it takes to sharpen a player's skates and get him back. And they were saying that they have actually done it inside of a penalty kill. So the man basically doesn't miss a shift. That's how quickly they can sharpen a pair of skates.
Steal. Eakin brings the puck in, but Dallas is offside. They were getting a little momentum going. Time for What's on Tap, presented by Coors Lights. Well, we got a great lineup for you tomorrow night. First up, 6:30, it's a tribute to Adam Foote. Number 52 gets raised to the rafters. Then at 7:30, it's Avalanche face-off, followed by the Avs. And it's always special when the Montreal Canadiens are in town. We'll have that game for you at 8 o'clock tomorrow on Altitude Sports.
One of the things the Montreal Canadiens love to do is they skate. We expected a little bit more of that in tonight's game. It hasn't shown, but they are a skating hockey club.
Whitney's pass tipped by Mitchell. Push back, Gonchar sends behind the net for Chiasson. Wilson for the Avalanche trying to slow him up. 11:15 to go here in the third period. Avalanche lead by the slimmest of margins. 1 goal. Daly to the red line. Knocked that one into the Avalanche zone. One back down the far side. Talbot, Landeskog. Landeskog, Talbot, and Stastny currently out for the Avalanche. Peverley chasing the puck, centered it through the crease. Back around the wall. Scooped by Sagan. Put off by the Avalanche. But the Stars, Peverley almost took that one away. Tanguay makes it into the zone. Stastny, Landeskog, shot, save made by Lettinen. He falls on top of the rebound to get a face-off.
Boy, this line has such confidence in their passing right now. They're not just passing the puck. They're passing it hard. It's on the tape. They're finding the open guy. They're getting shots. Again, you just watch just a nice quick pass, snap. Landeskog takes. Landeskog's on the right wing because he had moved across as the Avalanche are coming up the ice, and he cuts right through the slot. Great pass by Stastny.
After the faceoff, Brendan Dillon for Dallas. Is to Robidoux. Dumps that one in. Stars on it, but then a takeaway by Wilson. Gonna push it up the far side. Landeskog helping out. Stastny in there as well. And we got to the halfway point of the third period. 10 minutes to go. The Avalanche leading 2-1. To the point for Robidoux. Winds and shoots. Cole directs the puck behind the net. Horkoff to the point. Dillon. Around the horn the puck goes. Eric Cole. Robidoux one-timer. Save made by Varlamov. Landeskog without a stick. But Dallas is going to have to chase the puck into their own zone. Lettinen out to meet the puck.
We haven't seen much of that, but Lettinen is a guy who loves to move the puck. But for the Avalanche, good news, Johnson back on the bench for the Avs.
Pass comes across for Gennon. Up ice for O'Reilly. So Johnson back. That's great news for the Avalanche here down the stretch. 9 minutes and some change to go in the third period. Eakin sends a backhand pass across. Jason with the puck behind the net. Eakin for Dallas, trying to protect the puck. Avalanche able to manage it up the boards and out the center. Whitney got it back.
With the Avalanche, the Dallas defense is really jumping up into the play. They're going to have a look behind them and make sure they find that guy.
Smacked at the center ice. And backboard Seguin. Moving in quick with some speed, backhander save, and then the rebound goes wide to the corner. Going to the side of the net by Seguin. Nice pass to Daly, trying to send it across in the slot, but it was tipped by the Avalanche, and Mitchell to center ice. Off the boards for Parenteau. On the center, Talbot with the puck. Talbot walks out in front. That's deflected. Wilson, pass to the side of the net. Pass in the slot. Out to center ice. Steal by Ben. Comes over the line. He shoots. That's blocked. Mitchell running cleared up the glass. Chased down by Dallas. They are really hustling. The Avalanche. They will chip it the other way as Johnson sends it down the ice, but wide of the net. Play continues on. Off the boards. Out to center ice. Fiddler. Handoff for Roussel. Sarge peels away with the puck. Up the boards. Landeskog took a hit, but got the puck out of the zone. Stastny cutting in with Tanguay. Shoots. And that one goes wide. Bounce behind the net. Stastny on it. His pass picked off. Fiddler took it. Long pass through the middle zone. Nichushkin in. His shot. It's deflected and then bounced to the side of the Avalanche net, where Varlamov covers the puck. In Dallas, Texas, the Avalanche holding on. They lead at 2-1 in the third. In the first period, after swarming the net after 2 power play chances, back to even strength, and Paul Stastny scored the goal. And it has led 1-0 to the second period. Late in the period, McKinnon, Landeskog, and that one beats Lettinen. It's 2-0 Avs to the third period. Tyler Seguin peels away, makes the pass, and the one-timer, just a rocket off the stick of Alex Goligoski. And it's a 2-1 hockey game. We've had a goal in each period. The Avalanche up 2-1. Jason wraparound try, got deflected away. Parenteau sends it across for O'Reilly. Sends it to the corner by the goaltender, Kari Lettinen. Centering try. Again, a nice pass for Duchesne, but it went off the heel of his stick. Out in front, there's a chance for Parenteau, and it went wide. That took an Avalanche bounce, but Parenteau could not find the back of the net.
The Avalanche had a couple of good chances. That was a nice play back in it to Duchesne.
Pass for Parenteau. Into the middle for O'Reilly. Got away from him and Peverley to center. Long pass to center ice. Ben dropped it behind him for Goligoski. Quick check, and the puck comes to center. Peverley on it for Dallas. 6:15 remaining in the third. Seguin with some speed through the puck across the crease. Back to the point. Shot by Dillon. Hit a skate. Johnson. That's going to be a penalty. Johnson draws the penalty. Peverley got his stick around the arm of Johnson. And the Avalanche will have a power play here.
Well, Peverley, who scored such a great goal against the Avalanche last game. The Avalanche have held his speed down in this game, but you're trying to make something happen, but when you get the hands, get the stick on the hands above that waist, that's going to get called. And there's Parenteau just pounding that puck. Of course, his sort of new line mates, O'Reilly and Duchesne, this line together a full game for the first time here tonight.
Dallas number 17, Richard Peverley.
The Avs get their 4th power play chance. Now McKinnon, he's hurt.
He's hurt. Oh, they're looking around. They don't know. I can tell for the referees. Yeah, the stick just comes right up. by Roussel. The stick of Roussel, left side of your screen. Watch the stick come up, and it clips him.
Now MacKinnon is leaving the ice to go to the Avalanche bench. But no penalty was called on the play.
It
remains a 5-on-4 power play chance. Peverley in the box. A holding penalty called at 13:57 to give the Avs their 4th power play chance.
Well, MacKinnon had to go off because the play was called because he was the player that was injured. But fortunately for the Avalanche, it was only about 5 seconds that he was off before he could get back with his normal rotation on the power play.
Landeskog, Stastny, MacKinnon, Tanguay, and Johnson. Stastny's pass through for Johnson. And flicked down the ice by Fiddler. Both teams penalty killing. It's been good tonight. Long pass tipped. Letting it out of the net, but it hopped over his stick. For Dillon, defenseman for Dallas on it. On the net, stolen away from Robidoux. MacKinnon shot saved by Lettinen. And Dillon. Long pass to center ice for Eakin. Dallas on side. Eakin shot tipped wide by Alex Tanguay. Getting close to 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd period. Daly has a little bit of daylight, but the Stars are offside right in front of the Avalanche bench. Chiasson couldn't stay on side.
Well, no, the fans are upset because Chiasson was being sort of helped to stay in the zone by a couple of the Avalanche players. If nothing else, you know, it's 2 minutes when Dallas can't really push the play, but there has to be an urgency for the Avalanche. This is a chance to make this a 2-goal game and not a bad bounce 1-goal game.
45 seconds left in the Peverley penalty. O'Reilly down the boards for Duchesne. Side of the net, Mitchell pushed off the puck by Goligoski. Recovers. Sends it around for the waiting Matt Duchesne. Avalanche with a man advantage, leading 2-1 in the 3rd period. Duchesne's pass to the point for Benoit. Over to Duchesne. Down low for O'Reilly. Back to the point for Benoit. His shot got blocked. O'Reilly fanned on his first attempt. Duchesne after it. For the Avalanche. Rolls it up the boards. Benoit held it in. Finds Duchesne in the corner. Quick pivot. Gets himself free. He shoots. And that one turned aside by Lettinen using his blocker. That's the end of the penalty. Heavily on the box. Out of the box. Avalanche not able to score on that power play chance. 0 for 4 tonight. With the puck. In the corner, Mitchell. Hit in the boards by Peverley. Mitchell back up onto his skates. His pass picked off by Peverley. Bounced it free for Ben. Skating to center ice. Peverley's pass in the middle. Shot, score! Tyler Seguin.
Mike, there was so much going on the ice. There were 2 sticks on the ice. And you see the one right there. Now the play is coming back. You look how deep that one defenseman was. There just seemed to be everything got mixed up for the Avalanche. Obviously, the defenseman gets backed up too far because he was reading that the Avalanche were going to have the play. Seguin, his speed, Mike, is just going to put you in bad positions. He had an assist on the first goal. Now he scores this one. It has been a terrific period for Seguin. And now Dallas, down 2, has tied this game.
Oh, we're going to have a fight. Right after the face-off, that is Landeskog and Chiasson. Not 2 guys who fight a lot, but a good couple of right hands by Landeskog to the left, and Landeskog lands a couple more punches. about that? Landeskog with his second NHL fight. Taking on Alex Chiasson. They dropped the puck, and those two ready to fight.
But they were talking about it the whole time, Mike. Something was obviously done earlier in the last 3-4 minutes. But Chiasson, they were talking about it, and it happened.
We'll be back in a moment with more third period play.
A whole bunch of stuff has happened now. Landeskog is going to get 2 minutes for instigating. And they were furious with each other in that penalty box. You see right there. You see Chiasson right there and Landeskog talking. I have no idea what happened before. But Landeskog has gotten the extra 2 minutes. Now the Avalanche have to kill a penalty. Score tied at 2.
So McKinnon is serving that extra minor penalty that was given. And so it's a power play chance for Dallas. This is just their second power play chance of the game. 0 for 1 tonight. They have not scored a power play goal on home ice this season in 17 attempts. Goligoski just got his stick up in time to prevent that puck from going all the way down the ice. Whitney's pass too far for the Stars. Swung up the boards. Ben's pass dribbles back. Seguin handoff. Goligoski. Seguin cross ice for Ben. Power play Dallas. Goligoski on it. 1:05 left in this power play. Down low for Whitney. Pass, shot, and stopped by Varlamov. Big time save on this penalty kill.
Nice passing by Dallas, but again, just solid work. The Avalanche, like if there's one thing you can say after watching so many penalty kills for the Avalanche, do they work hard? They muscle people down low. That was going in. I mean, you talk about reading the play. Glove up, great save. You know what I did see though, Michael, was we went to TV timeout. I saw another look of that save earlier by Lehtinen, the pad save from the glove. It was closer. The look that they showed on the big screen. That was, I can see now why in Toronto, because the glove was over the line and the pad came from behind and hit the puck. So that's why it took so long. So have another look again. It's that glove hand being up has been a staple of Varlamov this year. That is something that he has really worked. I don't want to say to improve, but the style has been changed enough where it's up all the time and it comes at the puck. Oh, they're having another. They're looking at this one again. But
Now, did he make the save? That time definitely was a glove save. It was the glove behind the goal line when he made the save.
Because I did not see the call by the goaltender, the referees. Oh, I'm hearing they called no goal, so it would have to be clearly that it was in.
After review, the puck does not cross the goal line. Again, no goal.
Here's another look at it, and I didn't think this one did, but watch the catching glove. Now it snaps up right here. He catches it. Okay, let's drop that puck. No, not.
Again, they've got to be able to see it, though.
They've got to be able to see it.
That's the tricky part.
And it's got to overturn it.
Right.
It's got, and this is, if he had called it a goal, they would have to confirm it.
Dallas still has some time on their power play. Avalanche able to clear. 50 seconds left in this power play chance for the Stars in a 2-2 third period. Pass up ice for Ben. Horkoff for Dallas. Fed back to the point. Jamie Benn saucers the pass. Goligoski scoops it across for Seguin. His goal has made it 2-2. Shot by Whitney as he was diving. Blocked to the far side circle. Shot gets tipped. That was Cleach who got in the way. Cleach, Talbot, Hayda, and Gennon, the penalty killers for the Avalanche. And Varlamov recovers that loose puck right in the crease.
Like so many teams now killing penalties, Mike, they just drop everybody down into the box. That little area 10, 12 feet around the goaltender. You're just shooting that puck through so many bodies. You're seeing, again, so many defensemen, point men on power plays go to the wrist shot, just trying to get it through. But Varley right there, nice little pass from behind the net. And McKinnon now coming out of the box in 12 seconds, talking to the minor official, make sure he opens that door.
Dillon from the point. Shot tipped. Loose in front. Chance. Bouncing puck. Dillon steps up. Knocked down in front. Turnaround shot. Missed the net by Roussel. McKinnon's out of the box. Stars do not score on that power play. Avs kill the penalty. Loose puck bouncing around in front. Scooped and stopped by Varlamov. Roussel with that backhand chance through some traffic. But Varlamov made the save.
And I'm not sure exactly what time, maybe in the second period, that Dallas started to come on a little bit, because now the shots are 28-26 for Dallas. But they've had a tremendous third period. The Avalanche had that 2-goal lead, remember, starting this period, but the Dallas has, behind Tyler Seguin, has really made a comeback in this hockey game.
Comes a beautiful shot he had for the game-tying goal. Both their shots here in the third period have been really good shots. 1:14 to go. Face off in the Avalanche zone. 2-2 hockey game. Hayda on it. Moves the puck up the wall. Pass to center ice for Tanguay. Talbot for the Avalanche. Crunched along the backboards. Top of the circle. Hayda. Stastny. Shot missed. Cole for Dallas. Stastny stays with him. And the puck drilled back into the Dallas zone.
Paul Stastny's having just a wonderful game. Great play defensively right there.
Fiddler trying to get into the zone. Stripped away by Stastny. We have only 35 seconds left in regulation. Stopped by Lettinen. Turned it behind the net. Rolled around far side. Parenteau put it behind the net. Goligoski up the boards and got it out. But it's going to be an icing call. So the face-off will be in the Dallas zone, and the Stars cannot change the players on the ice.
The one thing about this hybrid icing, that bought the Avalanche about 2-3 seconds. We talked about it before, but that is icing the situation. So instead of 18.6, it would probably be about 15.6. So let's see if that plays into it for the Avalanche at all.
Now, Patrick Roy did not make any changes himself. So all the players that are on the ice stay out after that icing call for both teams. Dallas ends up with the puck. Pass to center. Taken away by O'Reilly. Gets to Duchesne down the middle. Could not pull the trigger on the shot. And we are going to go to overtime for the Avalanche. The first time this season that they will go to overtime in a game. 2 third-period goals by Dallas. Goligoski and Seguin scoring the goals, and that is forcing an overtime period. So it's 2-2 after 60 minutes to play. We'll need overtime at least to decide who will be the winner in tonight's game. Stay with us for overtime. This overtime is brought to you by Groove Subaru on Broadway or online at grooveauto.com. Here we go. First time this season into overtime. Now, Dallas has had 2 games that have gone into overtime but not decided in overtime. They went on to 2 shootout decisions this season for Dallas.
And Michael, I think something's got to be done about overtime. I really do. So far this season, I believe there's been 14 overtime game-winning goals, and another 27, I believe, have gone to shootouts. It's not supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be 2/3 of the games decided in overtime and then shootout that added a little extra. I think it's becoming too much of a shootout deciding. There's a shootout deciding it, because I think that is a gimmick. Still, I still believe it, you know, but it's just interesting.
Do you have a solution?
3-on-3 maybe for another 5 minutes, you know, just get something going.
5-minute sudden death overtime. 4-on-4 hockey. Johnson, Hayda, Parenteau, and Duchesne for the Avs. Seguin and Ben up front for the Stars, and it's Seguin with a puck, and he's been really good tonight. Followed up by Goligoski. Poke checked away by Johnson. Got it up ice for Parenteau. Duchesne joining the rush. Parenteau for the trailer. Hayda, and he shoots it high. Parenteau, side of the net for Duchesne. Wedged away from the puck. Flip for Seguin. His pass for Ben. Didn't quite get there. Gannon for the Avalanche. Split across for Duchesne. Bounced off a hit. Cuts out in front. His shot went off of the goaltender Lettinen. Bounced back for the Avalanche. Duchesne again with the puck. It's been out there a while in this overtime. Tanguay makes the pass across for Ryan Wilson. Back to the corner. Now Duchesne is heading off the ice. The Avalanche currently with Tanguay, Stastny, Johnson, and Hayda. Johnson's pass. Bouncing, but Stastny corrals it. Gives to Tanguay. Back to Stastny. Backhander. Big save by Lettinen. Back to the point. Hayda to the corner for Stastny. Romanov for Dallas. Trying to get out of the zone, but Stastny, what a game he's having. Poke checked away. Dillon was down on the ice, and he poke checked it away from Stastny. Chased down through the middle zone. Peverley comes in. He goes wide into the corner. Erik Johnson on to Rich Peverley. Took a little bump. And the puck travels out to the neutral zone. Sergei Gonchar. Handoff goes to Daly. Lost the puck at the Avalanche blue line. Mitchell holding it for Colorado. And Sarch steps up with the puck, and the big defenseman for the Avalanche into the zone. Dropped it for Mitchell. Circling the net. Back to the point for Benoit. Cruising through the circle. He shoots, and that one got blocked. Played back behind the net by the Stars.
The Avalanche have had the jump here in this overtime.
Approaching 2 minutes left in this 5-minute overtime period. Daly. Handoff goes to Goligoski. The Avalanche. Parenteau. Talbot. With Johnson and Hayda. Stars got two of their big guys. Ben and Seguin. It's Ben with the puck. He's in. He shoots. And that one went off the arm of Varlamov. And out of play. Spend Saturday night with the Avs on altitude. 6:30 we'll have a tribute to Adam Foote. And at 7:30 it's Avalanche face-off. Followed by the Avalanche and the Montreal Canadiens with a face-off at 8 here on Altitude Sports. That's a big night, and that's tomorrow.
Everyone's looking forward to it. And just talking to the players for the Avalanche, especially those guys that had an opportunity to play with Adam, it's going to be a great night.
90 seconds left. Stastny gets the pass back from Given. Skates in. He shoots. He scores! What a night for Paul Stastny. His second goal is the game winner in overtime. And the Avalanche win it 3-2.
Man, did he. I'm telling you, Mike. Is he playing good hockey right now for the Colorado Avalanche? I mean, that
outstanding. He was the best player tonight for the Avalanche.
He and Seguin, the two of them, were so good that they dominated the game for both of their clubs, but he just drilled that one. That was coming out faster than it was going in. Back-to-back game-winning goals, back-to-back one-goal efforts for the Avalanche. And after giving up the lead, again, they don't break and they win. They bend,
but they don't break.
They don't break. They sure don't. And They are
They
11.
just find ways to win. That, to me, Peter, you're now 11-1, the Avalanche. And how many of those 11 wins have been different styles of winning games?
They've been nothing like this one.
Nope.
You know, and
It's
all
another
of a
way.
sudden they do it again.
All right, Peter, tell us tonight's scores. Molson, 3 stars of the game.
Well, Landeskog had a goal, you know, and he was big tonight. I thought his line was outstanding. Tyler Seguin was good, but Paul Stastny was better, and he had 2 goals in this game, including the game-winning goal. And the Avalanche head home tomorrow night to Montreal with all kinds of momentum and all the energy that you would want from winning 3-2 in overtime.
They're now 11-1. They've matched their franchise best to start a season, now 6-0 on the road. What a start to this year. And Paul Stastny wins it in overtime for the Avs. They're a 3-2 victor tonight. And join us again tomorrow. The Avs are back on the ice. They'll be hosting the Canadians. For continuing coverage of the Avalanche, let's get to the studio. It's time for the Auto Nation Locker Room Reports.